Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Brandon's Rants with Dez, aka Dez Rant. Happy night, morning, afternoon, and evening. Um, Part two. I didn't want to say my whole part on yesterday because it was the Lord's Day. I'm gonna say my piece tonight. But like last night, I was talking about the killer and the one that was killed. The one that's basically in the backyard of where I live, basically within under 2 hours from where I live. Like I was saying, a lot of that stuff comes. You're used to it from the East Coast, the West Coast, not that close to home. So when it actually happens, it's close to home. Plus, she was originally from this area of where I actually live. Never met her, like I said last night. But at the same time, it's one of those things where you put a lot of stuff in perspective. You think Minnesota nice is one of those things where it's Minnesota nice all the time. But tonight I'm going to tell you how I feel about what should happen to him and what should have happened already to Carlos Brown from this past August. I'm going to wait for a beat, though. I'm going to wait for people to come on here. I'm going to wait for people to actually, I want people to actually see this live. Usually takes around 2 to 3 minutes. Usually within the first 2 minutes, I get the first person on. But those are usually people that follow me. Because this whole thing really is a shit show of a rigmarole that really chaps my ass to a fucking third degree. We've allowed this to actually happen this way, and we're allowing this whole thing to actually get worse and worse because we're not willing to do something about it. Howdy, howdy. Funny little bastard. Good times for Abiel. I love it. The fact is, at the end of the day, I'm gonna say my piece in a beat here. Wait for a few more people to get on here. Good times for Abiel. At the end of the day, when it happens basically in your backyard, it makes you think more. It really does. It's like I said, that was more of an East and West Coast, but it actually does happen in the Midwest. And it's like, son of a bitch. I know Minnesota's had a lot of crazy shit happen in the state, but it makes you really contemplate who you can really trust and who you can actually call a friend, call an ally. This happened at fucking work. How's it going, mister? Getting it done. By the way, what the hell? We've been on here for long enough. If you guys enjoy this content, please hit the like, notification bell, and the subscribe and all that good stuff. I don't guarantee I'm going to actually get any subscribers on this one. In fact, I'm going to tell you the truth of how I feel about what happened here in Minnesota. Um, last week, Tuesday, I think it was, at 6 o'clock in the morning. Yep, November 6th. 6 o'clock, or no, November 11th at 6 o'clock in the morning last week. Okay, Kato, Minnesota. She was minding her own business at her workstation, and David DeLong put on his gloves, and everything, and grabs sledgehammer from her stand. I actually watched the article of what they actually said on the news actually today to redo a whole lot of the stuff, and bashes her in the skull. And after the first hit, she was on the ground, and he hit her 4 more times with a sledgehammer. And it turns out it was premeditated. He was thinking about doing it for at least a month. The fact is, this should be first degree murder. This should be first degree murder right there. Especially being that he was thinking about doing it for months. How in the hell have we sunk so low actually in this country where hell we can't be safe at work anymore? Motherfuckers. We can't be safe anymore. Funny thing about it is on Sunday, because we're on our big stretch, there was one of the maintenance guys walking around with a sledgehammer. Like, ooh, that didn't age well. It's like, bloody hell. It's sad when you're thinking that way, but at the same time, it is what it is. So, like we were talking about last night, we were talking about Riska for a beat. That happened on August. It was more so the ending of August. I think it was 22nd, 20. What was the ending of August where she was slit in the throat by Carlos Brown because he had thought that she was reading his mind. That's how sick these motherfuckers are. They're coming with an excuse. So they get they're not fit for trial bullshit. If you do the crime, you deserve the time. And I'm not talking about time of in prison anymore. Both of these fuckers were caught on camera. First and foremost, this Brown was released 14 times. Took the 15th time to actually commit this murder. Death penalty. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's on camera. No trial. The next day, firing squad. And I'm being nice about the firing squad because I think I have other ideas what I would actually do to that motherfucker. There's David DeLong that actually killed Amber Check. I'm going to say the same thing actually with Brown. What should actually happen to him? The weapon that was used. You used on these little fuckers as well, but you take your time. Make him hurt. Until the left knows there's accountability for their actions, AK letting this fucker out 14 times. I'm not going to apologize for my swear words tonight. Until that and the judge gets actually done being a judge and actually goes into retirement, I don't care at this point. She's old anyway. Retire her. Nothing evil should come upon these people. But the fact is, at the end of the day, consequences should actually represent what they have done to these people. The family members will never be able to say hi or at least goodbye to them before this whole thing, after it's all said and done. Why the hell should we give a shit about what happens to these people at this point? That David guy murdered her because he didn't like her. If that's the excuse, people are going to really hate me when I do the trans thing once I get 200 subscribers. So the reason for you to subscribe to me to get that 200 mark, we're at 170. We're at 170. Pretty excited about that one. I'm going to make a lot of enemies in that one. Don't care. But I'm also going to make a lot of allies. That's all I know. But the fact is, at the end of the day, we have a lot of shit to go through right now. And I'm going to fight like hell to make sure this keeps going the way it's supposed to go. The fact is, I talked to a bunch of people at work. And they all agreed. How this David guy killed her. You don't start with the head. You don't end it right away. You got to make a statement for every lunatic out there that's willing to possibly do this. That's the only way this ends. If it's caught on camera, it's no longer, due process. I'm done with the fucking rhetoric because the left has created this whole monster of, easy release. Way to go, Democrats. Way to go. You guys have done a fantastic job. So you know what? Now we're going to have some fun with it, which is really not that fun because now you're going to watch a person scream like a little bitch because he's slowly dying because you chose not to do the right thing and throw these fuckers in prison. That Brown guy is going to go to hell. I'm not sure what he did on the other 14 accounts. You let him out. Now he's going to probably go to hell, which unless it's one of those things where it's a miracle where he actually really is sorry for his sins. But that David guy, he did not like her for like months. He was contemplating doing it. He actually had plans to do it. Freaking 5 hits later. I do not get how we are in this point anymore. Uh, and they actually had the surveillance of him doing the act on her. So you can take it with a grain of salt, whatever you want. You know, it's one of those things where they have it on there. I'm done being nice. We've been nice for too damn long. They're coming after us now. So it's time to make a statement and say, you know what, enough's enough. And now it's time for those that are caught on camera killing, no more trial, not until everything settles down. I hate being this guy. But at the end of the day, where do you go from here? The fact is, the one I'm talking about here in Minnesota was a white male and a white female. Nothing racist involved in actually whatsoever. What it was a guy not liking her. I'm not sure if she turned him down. The fact is, that stuff will always not be known, actually, unless that son of a bitch actually says it. But the fact is, he didn't like her. That is the reason why he did it. And this is why we have to make sure we stand up and fight like hell. And some of these things actually have to happen where they need consequences. Otherwise, this shit's going to keep happening. We're going to keep doing videos like this saying, what can we do? I'll keep saying consequences. And we keep going back to the whole rigmarole until people learn there's consequences. They're going to keep doing it. I think that's all I got to say for tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this content. Howdy. If you guys enjoyed this stuff, please hit the like, notification bell, and subscribe. I'll be going live again tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I might be doing 2. I was supposed to do Manami tonight, but I was like, fuck it. It's part of my French. This whole case right here has really pissed me off. The fact is, a lot of people don't. The fact is, it's one of those. I don't know what to say. I don't touch on that grain foot, you know. But like I said, if you enjoy this content, please hit the like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Because hopefully you guys agree with me. I might be dead wrong on this one. I might be wrong. But I'm just tired of watching all these innocent people that are being killed the way they are. Sariska, this Amber lady here in Minnesota. Hell, Charlie sitting on a stage having a conversation with kids. That sounded naughty. But they're college kids. Come on. But, you know, I do this content. I got to talk about it. It's one of those things where I got to talk about it. And yes, what I said here was a little bit rueful. I think I said it right. But it has to be done. For people to understand there is consequences for your actions. Once again, I love you guys. I do appreciate you guys. Until next time, peace out. I will be going live again tomorrow night, like always. Until December 1st, happy holidays.